What do you need to know about Tokyo? Deep, deep waters. First time I came here, it was a transformative experience. It was powerful and violent experience. It was as if it was just like taking acid for the first time, meaning, what do I do now? I see the whole world in a different way. I often compare the experience of going to Japan for the first time, going to Tokyo for the first time, to what Eric Clapton and Pete Townsend must have gone through, the reigning guitar gods of England, what they must have gone through the week that Jimi Hendrix came to town. You hear about it, you go see it, a window opens up into a whole new thing, and you think, what does this mean? What do I have left to say? What do I do now?
Anthony Bourdain, possibly the greatest video travel blogger of our time, was spot on. Japan is a life-changing experience. So when you guys asked us to do the program on our trip to Japan, we didn't know what to say. What did it mean? What do we do now? How can you possibly do Japan justice in pictures and words taken from an Android cell phone? Japan isn't a place, it's a feeling, and almost impossible to describe. The trip begins well before dawn. The birds are sleeping. Houston is quiet, but excitement has a way of making us forget we're tired. We're going to Japan, a place so far away, so mysterious, the mind has no concept of what's about to happen. And that, my friends, is an adventure. "20 hours later, we arrive in Tokyo. Jet lag is best handled like this. A beautiful hotel, a spectacular room, a magnificent view, and downstairs, a world-class martini bar. Hotel Chinsanzo has history. In 1878, Prime Minister Yamagata Aritomo built a mansion. On those grounds, he designed a garden full of lush beauty. Aritomo was moved by the ever-changing nature as light and wind passed through the trees. "148 years later, in the same spot Aritomo found his Zen, we find ours. Our rejuvenation begins." Much like New York, Tokyo is a thriving city. Busy streets, underground transit. Tall skyscrapers shadow millions of people. Asahi World Headquarters is built to look like a mug of beer. As New York surrounds a placid Central Park, so does this bustling city as it surrounds ancient Tokyo. We enter Asakusa, an entertainment district built in the Edo period. Tokyo's oldest temple, Sensoji, is no doubt Asakusa's main attraction. Built in 1828 and rebuilt after the war, the temple is Buddhist, not Shinto, and is flanked by the giant Thunder Gate, a Japanese version of the god of thunder and the god of wind. This long stretch of street is lined with shops and trinkets. Here, Japan's younger generation celebrates its earliest culture. At the end is the main hall of the temple. We worship as the locals do. Next stop, we find the fish market. Tsukiji, once the largest fish market in the world, is now called the Outer Market. Fresh fish, salty treats, restaurants, kitchen supplies, pottery, One stall is no more interesting than the next. Tokyo is refined, modern, polished, clean. We are struck by moments so different from any other city we've ever known. For one, it's quiet. No heart-thumping music, no honking cars, no screaming on cell phones in public. No one, it seems, is in a hurry. The people of Japan are nice, respectful. They like their peace, and so do we. Everywhere we turn, there is balance, order, ethereal beauty. Art is found in the Japanese kitchen, where food is served like color on a palette. Each meal the work of a genius. Tokyo has more Michelin-guide restaurants than any other city in the world. Chefs everywhere covet the food there.
Maybe the most important thing you need to know about Tokyo, from my point of view, is every chef I know, every high-end chef from Spain, France, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, basically every chef I've ever met, if you asked them, if you had to spend the rest of your life in one country, eating one country's food for the rest of your life, where would that be? They're all going to say the same thing. Japan. Tokyo. Period.
Not surprising, we eat things we've never seen or heard of before, and we love it. All of it. It's beautiful. 3 days later, it is time to leave Tokyo by ship to see other parts of the country. The cruise with Bobby's cousins is why we are here. As we slowly embark on the Silver Shadow, we wonder what could be better than what we just did. For 3 weeks, we travel the coast of Japan. From port to port, we find a culture so different from ours, so majestic, so simple, it's difficult to comprehend. Our first stop is Shimizu, home of Mount Fuji and sake breweries, each guaranteed to get us high. The mountain is asleep when the ship docks in port. She is behind thick cloud cover. A sigh of regret, yet sake awaits. We arrive at Fuji Takasago Brewery. Known as Japanese rice wine, sake is good. The sake in Japan is superb. We enter under a large cedar ball that hangs in the doorway. Legend has it when the giant ball of cedar turns from green to brown, the sake is ready. Our sake maker explains the process. He says it starts with fermenting polished rice using underground water from the mother of all summits, the nearby Mount Fuji. It is extremely soft water with low fermentation power. Takasago sake has been made alongside Mount Fuji since the Edo period. We bring home as many bottles as can fit in our suitcases. As we depart Shimizu, we are warmly serenaded by locals. These strangers don't seem strange at all. While most Japanese do not speak English, it is clear what they are saying. They appreciate our visit. They might even miss us when we're gone. The only thing inhospitable about the city is its elusive citadel. Mount Fuji has eluded us all day, or so we believe. As the shadow slips silently away, an announcement booms from the loudspeaker. It's the captain, port side. Mount Fuji is saying goodbye. By far the most moving experience is in Nagasaki, the second city the U.S. bombed to end World War II. Our emotions are mixed. Deep sorrow, fascination, horror, amazement. The story is well told at the Atomic Bomb Museum. Back on board the ship, life seems way too indulgent to enjoy after what we've seen at the museum. We must find ways to settle back in. We leave Japan and head to South Korea for a brief stop in Busan. Another fish market. This one smells, well, fishier than the ones in Japan. The babes of Busan, even the eels, don't seem to like it much. A return to our beloved Japan brings good feelings, like finding gold under a rock. In Kanazawa, we have. The ancient technique of creating gold leaf lives in Kanazawa. Gold leaf is real gold that's been beaten into a very thin, almost weightless sheet of paper. We are children at summer camp in gold leaf class. Decorating chopsticks is harder than it looks. Even the ice cream is covered in gold. Our colors move from gold to pink on the second largest island of Japan. We're in search of the famous Japanese cherry blossoms. Driven strictly by perfect conditions, and much like her cousin Mount Fuji, we are told the blossoms may or may not be a thing when we reach the city of Hakodate. Again, we are blessed by the gods. Ottawa, another port town on the northernmost island of Hokkaido, our last stop in Japan. Ottawa is known for its fresh seafood, a Venetian-like canal, and abundant hot springs. We are treated to the fresh harvest of a fisherman's catch and a breathtaking performance by geishas of the island. The Japanese word geisha literally means art person. In the old days, a geisha was expected to be like a nun and never get married, devoting her life to her artful message. Singing, dancing, and playing the shamisen are indispensable talents for a geisha, along with the ability to make conversation. We are leaving Japan one last time. We are back on the Shadow for the final leg of our journey. 6 days at sea is a luxury we think we'll enjoy, but endless ocean, incessant gray skies, and 4 different time zones create an otherworldly lack of sleep. The last of our 4 distinct wardrobe changes of the trip. A snowy hike on Bunker Hill, Dutch Harbor. A leisurely walk through the town of Kodiak Island. All reminders we are back on U.S. soil. We are almost home.